Hey, this is George Thompson with Thompson Online Services. I'm here today with Nathan Bailey, and wanted to touch base with Nathan, introduce him to you. And Nathan and I have had opportunity to work together for years on a lot of different projects, and help a lot of different clients that do some pretty amazing things. And just thought I'd bring Nathan on with us today, asking a few questions. Much better to have someone else talking about you instead of you going on and on about yourself. So, hey, this is the next best thing to you, probably getting Nathan on the phone. He's really busy as anybody that's in the online world that I live in. But hey, Nathan, take just a moment if you would to introduce yourself, and I'll hit you with a few questions, man, and we'll go.
Thanks, George, for having me on. It's a pleasure, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate over the years, the different things that you've done for our business. I own multiple businesses. I own a 3PL company, a shipping company. I own a training company. I own a company that is a branding company, and we do trademarks and all kinds of neat things for our clients. But I mean, I've worked with George, gosh, for about the last decade almost.
I think so. Right. Yeah, that's right.
About the last decade. Oh man, I can tell you. I mean, we've generated thousands of clients that you've kind of helped us, with that client customer experience. I think that was so valuable to us that the quality of what we were providing and the way that it was conveyed through the way that you helped us. I think that's what really harvested this reputation that we have now. We have this great reputation, and I think that we would have made a lot of mistakes along the way hadn't we had someone that could help us avoid some of the do's and don'ts that you don't know in the online marketing world. So we really appreciate your help, George.
I appreciate your kind words, man. That's not taken lightly. Nathan, and again, I know you're really busy, but if someone were to get through to you, and thank you again for jumping on here today, but if they ring you up later or something, they're looking at hiring George Thompson and Thompson Online Services, and they ask hey, should we hire George and should we hire Thompson Online Services to help us also? How would you respond to that?
Oh, I would say, yeah, do it because, I think there's a lot of skepticism out there, and being skeptical is okay. Being cynical is not, and I'd be skeptical of most people if they weren't skeptical of like you coming along and doing what you do. But I can say that George can do it, and every day that you're letting it go by where you're not getting the help from George, are days that you're losing money, or you're probably going to lose somewhere without having some support and some help and that team factor. That's what's been huge for us is just team. And in business, you build people, right? You bring them into your business and you build people. The great thing about George is you don't have to build him. He comes in pre-built, and you can build business with George, and build relationships, and build systems and processes, and accelerate the process of growth in your business. That for me was just the where I was pleasantly surprised, where you came into our business at a time where we were kind of stuck at this growth plateau, and we needed to figure out what needed to change, and you helped us with that. And then we grew again, and then we hit the next growth plateau, and then throughout the years, these different growth plateaus, we've needed the right brain behind it to help us, figure out where we need to grow to the next place, and to the next place, and then how to best serve these clients that we've worked with over the years. It's just, you have a servant's heart, man. I would say without a doubt, hire George Thompson. You won't regret it.
Yeah, I tell you, having opportunity.
He certainly didn't.
Well, hey, thank you very much, man. Having opportunity over the years to allow your clients, quote unquote, to be my clients. In other words, to treat them as if they were my clients, even though they were, of course, yours all along, and see folks be able to go from, some training, some education, to go to full tilt coaching, to go to one-on-one coaching, consulting with you guys. And then, it was a great privilege for me to be able to handle handle those coaching clients, and to know that when we handed them to you, had opportunity to hand them off to you, you're going to do a great job with them. And, being able to, me personally, being able to serve those customers, man, it was a, man, wow, it was a great privilege, man. With that being said, I love, as you know, it seemed like I was born with a marketing spoon in my mouth almost. It's just what I'm given to do, help local businesses. But, a lot of marketers I've had experience with, they know lots of things about funnels and leads and do this and do that. But sometimes, honestly, it seems like they're lacking in the area of customer service. Maybe they've never worked on the front line. They've never handled refunds. They've never handled simple repetitive tasks over and over and over again that normal customers have after they went through your sales funnel, become a client. But hey, if somebody called you and said, look, what do you think George or even Holly there at Thompson Online Services, what do you think their greatest strength is when it comes to customer service?
Yeah, I'll tell you, with that being the key thing that you helped us find those broken systems. See, we in every business you have problems, right? But within that, those problems arise because you have broken systems, and you helped us identify those broken systems and fix those processes so that the customer experience was so much better that I think reputationally, you can't afford to have that one bad Yelp or that one bad review online. You can't hide a bad reputation online. And if you have somebody fixing those broken systems on the front line for you, and solving those problems before they really become big problems, I think that was one of our biggest blessings in having George Thompson, and the biggest saving grace in having you come in and help us, design better business best practices in our business, and, standard operating procedures that we were just kind of clueless about.
Gotcha. Yeah. Sometimes it's all it takes, no matter who comes in, whether folks were to hire myself and our company or someone else, just someone that comes in with a heart of a teacher. They see everything that's going on, and then just sometimes they just sharpen that knife just a little bit, and the next thing you know, they really, like you were saying earlier, they do take you to that next level. You're already doing a lot of the right things, but sometimes they just add just a little bit more. Maybe it's almost like adding the nitrous button to a car that's already going pretty fast, or sometimes maybe a little tighter steering to keep you between the ditches, I guess. But hey, here's one I'm going to hit you with, and you might have to chew on this, or it may immediately pop out to you. But hey, can you describe a memorable experience when George was handling your customers or your coaching clients? Like over 10 years, man, we've talked to and worked with a lot of people, and a lot of names come to my mind. And I know we worked individually on projects, different things like that. But hey, what's that one or two that maybe just stand out to you? Like I would never forget when you did this. Does that pop right in your mind, or you want to think on that a little bit while we?
The one thing that pops to mind, right, and this is the one thing that sticks out, is there was a client that was not having a good experience with us, right, and they weren't able to connect with us in a way that they were with you, right. And I remember that you handled it with kid gloves. I can't remember the client's name for us, but that was one of the big things is, how you turn that client around and then send them back to us in a way where they understood where we were coming from, because that was the problem. It was a breakdown in communication, and you were able to kind of, calm that client's concern down, and you know what I'm saying, and show us a thing or two there. I think that was right. That was long before we ever had any kind of a help desk or a support ticket system.
Right.
And I think we gave them the product for free, and just said, here, let us help you out. Let us, and now that client is, continuing to come back as a customer over and over and over again, just because of that client experience. So
awesome.
That's just one of the many. So that I think that was where we were failing as a business is, we thought we knew what we were doing with marketing. We had good branding, but we just didn't have that great of support system for client experience, and our, in our business, you're always looking at breakage in terms of, like refunds or, lost customers.
Right.
We have the lowest rate of refunds and lost customers in our industry of anybody in our industry by far. And I think that's one of the main areas that you helped us with, is that customer retention, because finding a new customer is not that easy, right? I mean, you're always out there trying to get the new customer and the new customer, but retaining those customers and keeping those customers in your fold, that I think was one of the more valuable lessons, that how to do that, how to retain that business.
Yeah. Customer attention, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ginormous. It costs you so much more to go out and get a new customer than it does to keep one. And of
Yeah.
course, if you lose one, you lose all the referrals, that type of thing they would have given you. And Lord help you if they go to rip off report or something like that. But I can't believe I even said that word. Never mind. Hey, man, here's one to think about here. I was just thinking about this literally driving down the road. It's like, I can't remember exactly, but and you may or may not either. But hey, man, can you describe for the folks who may be watching this recording today how we met? And what it was like. You've already addressed the second part of the question there, but hey, tell us a little bit about how we met and what it was like working with me on in times past, especially maybe at some live events and things like that, where sometimes it gets pretty pressure cooker when you have 500 or 700 of your closest friends hanging out with you.
What's amazing about that, and how this has come full circle, is how you and I met. Is you became a customer of mine, right?
That's right.
And immediately you started seeing these broken systems that we had, and you contacted me personally. You knew to say, hey, I need to talk to the owner of this business. And, I remember that conversation very well, right? We talked about it. And because you were a good communicator, I was able to work with you a bit and help you fix those problems. And then I made a recommendation to the partner that I work with to say, I think it's a good idea to bring George in to help us with these. He has a lot of good ideas that I think that will help us fix these problems that we need to solve in our business. And that's really what it comes down to is, every business has problems. And, I think that you've seen so much and seen so many that you have some really immediate plug and play solutions to some of these problems that businesses in some places don't even know it's even a problem.
Right.
But the way that you communicated to me that, hey, Houston, we have a problem, and here's some ideas of how we can fix it. It helped me immediately recognize that, hey, I need to listen to this guy.
Appreciate those kinds of words. I remember that all too well. It's not often where you have opportunity to be someone's customer and then turn around and have opportunity to serve their customers. So that's not something that I take for granted, but sometimes that does happen, and that was a great blessing, man.
The student becomes the teacher. Yeah. I love it when that happens.
I guess then you really, not the master necessarily, but maybe sometimes the teacher, man. But hey, a lot of folks, if they have opportunity to watch this video, or they check it out later, or if you ran into them, or they dropped you an email and they said, hey, that's great to hear what George did for you, but look, would you if the need arose, would you guys rehire him? Are you guys on good terms? You always hear that from prospective employers or clients, like, hey, they did a great job, but look, would you let them do it again? What are your thoughts there, man?
Absolutely. There are different levels of growth in a business. And like I talk about these growth plateaus that you hit along the way. Sometimes you get stuck there and you need, a brilliant mind to help you get unstuck and get off that growth plateau so you can grow to the next level and hit the next plateau. And that's how business should go. It should be a slow and steady wins the race, continual progression. And without having the right people, you may think that, I have the idea, or I have the product, or no, what it comes down to is you have to have the right people, right?
Sure.
And, you are the sum of the top 5 people you surround yourself with. So take that into consideration. And absolutely, George, I think that over the years, there'll be many other opportunities for us to do great things together, and serve well, because that's one thing I've learned over the years working with you is, it's not about the bottom line and the margins and and the, the metrics and the, the ads and all of that stuff. It's about building relationships with people. And if you have that right long-term relationship, that can be the key crux of your business in terms of where it goes long term. Is those relationships are so valuable. So that if you want to have the highest quality relationship that you can possibly build in business with your customers, definitely hire George to work with you and build marketing systems and processes that benefit not you and your business, the relationship between you and your clients, your customers, your vendors, your suppliers. Once you find that you tighten those things up too, along with good, solid marketing technique, that preeminence that's created is huge. The people will do business with you, even though they can go get the product easier, cheaper somewhere else. They're going to do business with you just because they love you. They don't just like you, they love you. And I think that's a big deal now in business, is that you can't just, okay, here you go, customer service. You got to go way above and beyond so that people like you, know you, trust you, remember you. And they only want to do business with you because of that preeminence that's created. And I think that's a big piece of the puzzle in the marketing game. When you bring someone to help you build your business online and with marketing, if you don't have those systems in place, when they start to fail, you can't go back. You can't remove that negative complaint online or that bad review that you get on Amazon. You can't, you have to, how to resolve that customer complaint before it actually comes in, because you're going to get it. It's going to happen. You can't make 100% of the people happy all the time. But if you have solid marketing systems in place and then infrastructure to support that new flow of business that's going to be coming at you, you'll be very happy that you didn't have to figure all that out on your own. You have someone like George helping you.
Wow, man, you nailed it so much, man. You can almost take that last little segment there, and that almost be a mini book that could help a lot of folks, man. And and if we weren't doing this recording today, and folks were asking like, hey, no matter who you're hiring, what questions should you ask as an employer versus going to Google and seeing what you should ask or finding whatever. For me, one of the top questions I would ask, if I was, looking at maybe doing work for a client or looking at maybe an outsourcer or bringing someone onto my team, probably the very first question that I would ask is like, tell me about this. If you worked with this person for a while, yeah, okay, got that. Can you tell me a little bit about their integrity and about their work ethic? What did you observe, over the last 10 years? That's a wide open question, but hey, hit me with it, man. What about integrity and work ethic have you seen from me and from our company?
You know what? Consistency. I've seen a lot of consistency in terms of just follow up. Obviously the integrity is there. That's not even a question. But the consistency in terms of being consistent and having a reliable partner, because that's one thing that I've found with other people that we've hired to come in and do marketing and provide services to our business, is that they come in and then you pay them and then they disappear. And then in the beginning they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, definitely, and they're real assertive with you and they're really, oh yeah, I'm going to be on time and all that stuff. And then as soon as you pay them, you start to notice that, oh wow, they've fallen off the wagon here. I feel like over the years, your consistency and your reliability just became more apparent as time went by.
I appreciate that.
It wasn't like okay, you got paid and then you didn't have to continue earning our business. You continued earning our business.
Got you. Hey man, that just encourages me to do more of the same, and I would trust anyone who has opportunity to look at this, regardless whether or not they hire our company to help them in anything in business. They take that advice to heart. That's just key. That's crucial what you just had to say there, man. And the last thing I'll hit you with, man, we talked a little bit about made mention. We worked some live events together where 500 to 700 of our closest friends would get together, and a lot of times those folks would come. Many of those folks would need personalized one-on-one help after the event, and maybe look at hiring your company for coaching and things like that. I was going to ask you, how have I and our company made a difference in your business and your bottom line, specifically as far as helping you to get more, new clients for coaching, that type of thing. I know obviously every time we'd have a live event, I'd have opportunity to interact with folks I've been supporting all year long, and then meet them face to face and maybe bring them over to you, say, hey, this person might need coaching. But hey, tell me how we've had the opportunity to impact your bottom line on your company.
Well, one of the key things is from the get-go, it was making people feel comfortable, because, you overseeing that funnel where they come in and they kind of get to know us in the beginning, they're scared, they're skeptical. And you did a really great job in building systems that broke down that barrier, that fear, because we do coaching and training, but, people, when you say coaching, they're like, oh, but, we do it right. We do it with sincerity and with real service. It's, to us, it's about people first. People always come first. But, in that business, you see a pretty fair amount of refunds and refund requests and how do you handle that? How do you build systems for that? How do you build processes to where we talk about client retention? I mean, because of the systems and processes there that you were involved with in building with us, we have the lowest refund rate and refund request rate in our industry. We know it for sure. Other people hear about what we've been able to do, and they're like, that's unheard of. Other people hear about how our leads come in and how they come in organically, and we're not spending a ton of money on Google ads and a bunch of ad spend, and how to actually get organic marketing to work well for you to generate the right type of customers. I think that introduction was crucial, that you helped us build. But moving past that through building the long-term relationship, I think that's made the best difference in terms of the impact of low returns and refunds and all of that stuff. I mean, and it's applicable to any marketplace: Amazon, eBay, Facebook, any social media, any, on your website, all across the board. That preeminence is so important, for, building in these components into your business. And trust me, you're overlooking a lot of those components. And if you don't have somebody who knows what they're doing, like this guy, who knows how much money you're leaving out on the table that you could be putting back into your pockets. And really, leaving money out on the table is no different from losing money. It's the same thing. Right. So the amount of money that you're probably losing that you don't even realize could probably pay for the stuff that George can provide you 10 times over, right? You think about it, you're paying for it and you're not getting anything. You might as well pay for it and get something.
Right. It's always bad to pay less, and it's always good to pay less and get more, but never good to pay more and get less, for sure. Well, Nathan, man, thank you again. I know you've been very busy, and we're both mobile, running around like crazy people today, but thanks, man, for carving out some time where we could just hit you with these questions, totally unscripted, just nail it, see what you had to say, and what advice you'd have for folks that may be considering hiring us here at Thompson Online Services. So listen, man, hope you have a great day. Appreciate you so very much, and we'll talk to you next time.
You too, my friend.
Bye now.
Bye.